Here's a question for you. If you're looking to choose an alternative to this, the Jaguar E-Pace, what are you going to go for? I'll make it a little bit easier. It's a multiple choice question. You can either go for a Mercedes GLA, a BMW X1, an Audi Q3, a Volkswagen Tiguan, a Lexus UX, Mini Countryman, or a Range Rover Evoque. Wow, that's a lot of rivals. Now, does this car stand out in such a crowded market sector? Let's find out. Before we find out, please take a moment to subscribe to the CarGurus UK YouTube channel. Remember to slap the bell icon on too. That way you'll catch all of our latest videos. Things start off fairly well out here, and at the end of 2020 there was a mild facelift which saw some changes, including a new grille, new headlights and some other tweaks here and there. Jaguars should look muscular, clean and athletic, and that's not always easy with an SUV, but that has been achieved with the E-Pace. Largely helped by these huge alloy wheels, but they are a £1,240 option. Standard cars get smaller 17-inch alloy wheels. Once you open the boot, which you'll have to do manually unless you've got an SE or an HSE, there's a decent amount of space. That said, you will be able to fit more stuff in a Volkswagen Tiguan or Volvo XC40. On the plus point though, there's no load lip and it's a very usable shape. It's a bit inconvenient that the seats don't fold completely flat. However, the 40-20-40 split folding rear seats are a useful touch. Well, first of all, this dark red leather is a no-cost option against the black leather, which is really good. Kudos there, Jaguar. Other than that, it is fairly spacious back here. Legroom and headroom are decent. The only thing that we will criticise this car on is the fact that the rear seats do not recline or slide like they do on, for example, an Audi Q3. The space is a bit tight if you'd like to get three in the back, and the middle passenger will have to deal with an unyielding seat and a lumpy footwell. Things are good up front and you can find a comfortable driving position thanks to 12-way adjustable seats. So we can just go up like this and a little bit of adjustment here, and I could get really fussy here and just get the most perfect driving position, but I think you might get bored. So I'm going to stop that now. You also sit very high up compared with something such as the Audi Q3 or Mercedes GLA, but that's not a bad thing because this is the lofty driving position that you would expect from a Jaguar SUV. Now, in terms of quality, that is also very good. It feels very well put together. There's some beautiful stitching and just an overall good quality feel about the cabin. Jaguar has also consistently upped its game here over the course of the E-Pace's life. Earlier models had smaller screens, a more obstructive gear lever and a smaller, more fiddly infotainment system, but it's now much better to look at and to use. The new infotainment system was introduced in late 2020 and it is, well, brilliant. It looks great and the responses are pretty much lag-free. It's as easy to use as your smartphone, which you can also connect via Apple CarPlay or Android Auto if you want to. Oh, and the physical buttons for the climate control are a bonus where models such as the Volvo XC40 make you mess around with the main touchscreen. When it comes to trims, Jaguar has a slightly confusing strategy. First of all, you choose your E-Pace in either normal or R Dynamic, which is a bit sporty. It's got some sporty bits on the outside and some sporty seats. And then you pick your trim level, which is the basic entry level S, then SE, then HSE. Every E-Pace gets dual zone climate control, 360-degree parking camera and all-round parking sensors and LED headlights. Upgrade to an S car like this and you get those electrically adjustable seats. SE brings more goodies still, such as a powered tailgate, adaptive cruise control and a digital instrument cluster, while top-spec HSE cars get fancy Windsor leather and other luxuries such as keyless entry. This car has a few extras added to it, which makes this particular car more than £50,000. But some of the features are pretty cool. For example, it has this, which is called Clear Sight, and it basically takes a feed from a camera behind the car and shows you what's going on behind the car and turns the rear view mirror into a screen. That is particularly handy if you have a full boot load or rear passengers obscuring your view. It's part of the technology pack, which also includes wireless phone charging and heads-up display. But what about the engines, I hear you cry? Well, there are a couple of diesel engines, the 201 brake horsepower D200 and the 163 brake horsepower D165. Petrol options are the 197 brake horsepower P200, the 246 brake horsepower P250 and the 296 brake horsepower P300. All of these are 2-litre units with turbochargers and mild hybrid technology, and they're all smooth and fuel efficient. The lower powered diesels feel more leisurely and should return you around 46 miles per gallon. Meanwhile, the petrols feel faster and will use more fuel. This car though is the P300e. That means it's a plug-in hybrid. It also means it's got 306 brake horsepower in total, so it's the fastest and most powerful Jaguar E-Pace. So while it's only got a 1.5 litre petrol engine, it's also got an extra 108 brake horsepower from an electric motor on the rear axle. Of course, the real party trick with any plug-in hybrid is the electric only running, and this car can do up to 34 miles on electric power alone. And there's also the option to switch between EV mode, so full electric, hybrid and save, which allows you to save all that electrical power for later on when you really want it. When you want to recharge those batteries, you get an 80% charge in just half an hour if you find a fast enough charger, and if you've got a home wall box, it'll do the same in an hour and a half. That's really impressive, but it's slightly annoying that Jaguar charges £300 for a home charging cable. It's a bit cheeky when, for example, a Volvo XC40 plug-in hybrid is already several £1,000s less. One problem with plug-in hybrids is that they tend to weigh a lot, and this E-Pace is no exception. It weighs 2,173 kilograms, which is over 300 kilograms more than a P200 petrol model. That means fuel economy suffers when you're on a long trip and the EV battery is running low, and on that long trip you're likely to see around 30 or 40 miles per gallon. Another problem with plug-in hybrids is that the batteries can very often eat into boot space. Jaguar, however, has sidestepped that by creating new underpinnings, the same as those that can be found in the Range Rover Evoque, and they have plug-in hybrids in mind from the start. That new platform has benefits out on the road too, as the battery pack sits low in the car, minimising the effect of that extra weight. Sure, the normal petrol and diesel models feel more agile, but this E-Pace is still pretty sprightly. It's got sharp feeling steering, very little body roll, and as a result feels light on its toes, ready for a busy road. It is a bit fidgety though, and backseat passengers will get bounced around a little bit. It's not a car to give travel sickness passengers an easy ride. And when the petrol engine cuts in from EV mode, there is a slight hesitation. That said, the 8-speed automatic gearbox does a very good job of moving up and down the gears very smoothly. So what do we think of the new E-Pace? Well, the drivetrain is excellent, as are the other engines in the range, and it's a much more premium product inside now, and the infotainment system is excellent. The problem is, what it does well, its rivals do just as well, if not better, and a lot of them are also cheaper. If it's a Jaguar that you really, really want above all other brands, then you won't feel shortchanged. For everyone else, there are better alternatives. So would you like to put an E-Pace on your driveway? Let us know in the comments, and if you're considering buying a used example or indeed any car, head to cargurus.co.uk to find lots of great deals from top-rated dealers, including approved used examples.